Hello, I'm Dr. Renee Dossett. I had the pleasure of facilitating the Ivy Ink Blotz literary publication and online literary magazine, produced by the creative writing class at Ivy Tech Community College in Newcastle, Indiana. We utilized a project-based learning model focused on genuine, hands-on publishing and literary experiences. I learned of this model through my work in the Indiana Writing Project. The model is based on authentic skills use, fostering mentoring and collaboration among students, building on students' prior knowledge base, creating an embedded engagement based on active learning, and empowering students through their use of their own voices. The student writing community of the class self-selected their roles in the publication process. They worked in groups, under group management, and were coordinated by student project managers and editors. I hope you enjoy their work as I have.
Hi there, my name's Austin Downey. I've had the pleasure of taking place in the creative writing class down at the Newcastle Ivy Tech Community College campus. I worked as the project manager for our new publication, Ivy Ink Blotz. During this role, I supervised and oversaw people as they forged forward in their creativity. So I would like to introduce to you two members of our team and our professor, Dr. Renee Dossett, for our roundtable discussion of Ivy Ink Blotz. All right, here we are as our roundtable discussion proceeds for the Ivy Ink Blotz magazine. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Larry Gibson, Mr. Jesse Arnold, and Dr. Renee Dossett. Guys, I want to open up this roundtable discussion by talking about something that I think many of us avoid, the importance of the arts. Now, as we all know, that this is a very artsy class, and unfortunately in the ways of trade mechanics, science, statistics, math, everything else, arts is falling by the wayside. So Larry, I'm going to start with you. How important was it to have the freedom for creativity in this publication?
Well, I had been in a trade as well as being a photographer, so I was kind of a creative type person, but in writing, all I ever did was what the professor told me to do in class or what I had to do. So I wanted to be able to learn to write in a better style, more creatively, and to have someone look at it later and think, wow, that's interesting. In my particular case, it was to leave a legacy to go with my photographs, something I could write. And Central Indiana hasn't always been known for its abundance of artistic endeavors, so I think that I had to hunt high and low to find a creative writing class, and I found it in Newcastle, Indiana, and it was very good. I'm going to take it again.
Art is everywhere, so I think it's important to be able to recognize it and understand it when you see it. The things that are, a lot of people just attribute to science, math, technology, a lot of it at its foundation is actually art. It's been created by somebody, so it's important that we have these kind of experiences to be able to, figure out what the meaning of everything is, because otherwise you're kind of lost. You're just living in a very stale world otherwise.
What I think is lacking in many standard classrooms is the idea that the students all come with their own stories. Like Larry has a world of experiences that he brought into the classroom. The same with Jesse or yourself, Austin, or any of the other people that took our class. They're not blank slates. They come with their own experiences, and it's my role to facilitate their learning through putting them in certain activities and group work where they can develop their voices in a more authentic and creative way. I was really surprised with the depth of the poetry, the prose, all of the work that the students did, well, the writing community did. Not really, I don't see them as students. We were all authors. We were all producers. We all had created an authentic experience. And we came together with this publication which gave us a tangible product that allowed students to feel empowered by the physical presence of their voice on paper. And I don't know if anybody's mentioned this yet, but But Jesse, you were responsible for the online
Yes.
version of it.
Mhm.
So not only do we have a print form, but we had an online form as well.
I did technical support for 4 years. It just seemed natural for me to be manager of the technological aspect of it. I was in charge of putting the website together, making sure all the file types matched. There were no clashing there. So that's what I elected to do. It just made sense.
Now I will say this, being the project manager, yeah, you gotta, kick things into gear, but as we all know, we had a wonderful team of people to work with.
Absolutely.
And not only did you learn, and not only did you learn, and not only did you learn, we all learned collaboratively, myself included. And it was wonderful to be able to have people who looked at me as a co-worker and as an advice giver versus a slave driver. So I really had a good blessing there in being able to take over the role of project manager.
I always thought that as a photographer, I could take pictures, but as far as a graphic layouts person, I said, I really need help in that. So I thought that would be a good place to be, so I got in the graphics part of it. And I ended up taking photographs and helping lay out the cover and making the ink blots by taking ink and throwing it on the floor and photographing it. So it brought out a whole different type of creativity in me. Graphically. So, and then I got to work with other people who were more educated. Jessica was very well educated in the graphics design part, so she helped me and I helped her on some other things. So I think we all learned a lot from the part that we participated in, as well as helping other people in their parts.
Everybody managed to find a niche, and what was fascinating was, they sat in their individual groups, and yet they liaison constantly during the actual working part of the class. I mean, we had 3 hours every Monday night. So in writer's workshop form, I would do like a mini lesson based on something from the book. I would do some writing activities, and then we would do some sharing, actual real life audience sharing of the work.
The fence post. Larry Gibson. I don't even remember where we went today. The sun was shining and it was Saturday. That was one more excuse than my dad needed to gather up his 2 kids and go to parts unknown. As we moved along, the puffy cumulus clouds were in the constant motion, forming alligators, pigs, trees, and anything I imagined them to be. Oh yes, my big sister Judy was adding her versions, which I thought were stupid, because I was younger than her. Earlier in the day, the weather had been perfect for an outing. Warm enough to shed my shirt and cool enough not to sweat. Not that sweating bothered me. Sweating would, however, annoy my sister, since we were crammed together in a seat designed for one adult. She had recently started to act more like a babysitter, or even a mother, even though she was just 4 years older than I. But on this trip, we were having fun and enjoying the ride. At 8 and 12 years old, we had a kind of a love-hate relationship, which oscillated according to the situation. Today, loving seemed to be dominant, and we talked while absorbing the smell of corn and soybeans bursting forth from the Indiana soil.
I don't even remember your voice, echoing from speaker boxes and bars with air like an acid cloud, holding my breath and drawing the people I wanted to be. They lived anywhere else. Some of them were you, too. Karaoke nights, I remember those. Riding home across the laps of strangers, and the car of someone too drunk to keep out of oncoming traffic.
They come and take me away from the only home I know. They take me to a place they say is my new home. They take me in and get me situated. Then they say they love you before they go. Someone comes in and says her name, explains she will be taking care of me. She spends some time with me, then she leaves me. She enters the room a while later. I ask again, "Who are you?" She tells me something, but I can't recall. I just want to go back to where I could recall.
I'd just like to thank Ivy Tech for giving me the opportunity.
And yes, Ivy Tech, thank you for giving us all the opportunity, and thank you for continuing to give us the opportunity. On behalf of Mr. Gibson, Mr. Arnold, and Dr. Renee Dawsett, I'm Austin Downey, and thank you for joining us on our roundtable discussion of Ivy Ink Blotz.